Good morning. Welcome to the wake up call with myself and Alex. How is everyone feeling out of 10?
Out of 10, I'm a 10 out of 10. You know, any day you can wake up and the sun is shining on your face, I'm a 10, no doubt in my mind.
Same here. 10 out of 10. It's impossible to have a bad day if you woke up on the right side of the dirt. So let's get into it. We talk about the crypto weird takes. Let's start it off, Alex. Where are we headed?
Okay, so all right, this is the Bitcoin chart. I want to ask you something about Bitcoin if you're thinking something here, but I want to look at Ethereum first because this is really interesting. I posted this on my X account the other day, and then I've looked back historically to see what happens with ETH, and it's pretty much the same playbook. So Ethereum. Well, all right, let me back up. Bitcoin and Ethereum. Every time that Bitcoin and Ethereum try to break their previous cycle all-time high, what happens is that they break it by a little bit, and then they it's like the traders, they know the drill by now. They just short it down like crazy, and it goes down pretty aggressively, and then it puts in a V-shaped recovery within a week or two. So this is what happened in 2021, early 2021 with Ethereum. I want to zoom in on this on the chart here because it's really interesting. Even look at what happened before Ethereum. So Ethereum rallied on December 23rd of 2020. It was at $555. And then it rallied within a couple weeks. It more than doubled within a couple weeks and got to 1350. And then so 1350 was $75 lower than its previous all-time high. And it dumped down to 910. So that was what, like a 40% drop. And then you can see over the next few days, it grinded higher. And then it zoom in a little bit here. It just barely broke that all-time high and then put a 27% drop. So that happened with Bitcoin in March of 2024. It happened with Bitcoin in December of 2020. It just every time that Bitcoin breaks its previous cycle peak, every time that Ethereum breaks its previous cycle peak, it does this. And so my message to you is just embrace it. Be ready, be prepared for a lot of volatility, a lot of days like yesterday, where I would say yesterday was similar to January 10th of 2021 with Ethereum. And just these next couple of weeks probably would be a grind. Although, I mean, it could certainly look a lot different. I mean, even yesterday when Ethereum dumped as much as it did, the spot ETH ETFs bought $630 million worth of it, 640 actually, which was 80 times the amount of ETH minted yesterday. So it may be that it's a lot quicker this time. But I mean, I have no doubt that what comes on the other side of this is price discovery for ETH. I mean, yesterday's candle, I saw your video about it, Devin. Yesterday's candle is nothing. I mean, we could even go a decent amount lower and still be in an uptrend. Not that I think it's going to happen, but that's a blip. So
yeah, it's funny because I have basically me and Alex really haven't talked about where we're at, what we think, and we basically I'm literally using the same point for reference for Ethereum. So I have the exact same thought, and my thought too is a little bit more. My thought's a little bit more like September rate cuts to me are going to be like we're going to have a flash correction in my opinion, and what I think is actually going to happen for Ethereum is just like back in, when was that, 2020 when it just got an all-time high, 2021 maybe. Yeah, so January of 2021 Ethereum makes an all-time high slightly, and then back tests the prior range. And I like to, like, I have this little line right here to just kind of show like when we zoom out. So this is supposed to represent this red correction right here. And when you
wait,
zoom,
what are you looking at?
oh, I'm sharing the wrong tab.
Okay.
All right, there we go. It's supposed to represent this red correction here. Right here, this line is just supposed to represent that, so that when I zoom out, it just looks like nothing. It just looks like a little blip on the radar. You know what I mean? But in reality, when you zoom in, this is a 34% correction, and people were
Yeah.
crying yesterday about a little 5% move, and it's like, I don't know if you're ready. If you're crying about 5% over spilled milk, like, I don't know if you're ready for Ethereum breaking out to 52, 5,500 and then back testing 4,800. I don't know if you're ready
Yeah.
for that or not. But that's what I think is gonna happen. I've talked about it a lot, where, um yes, you said the same thing. Bitcoin, I've actually never seen an asset just rip through the all-time high. Like, it's pretty
Yeah.
rare. Same thing for XRP, kind of did the same thing where you like touch it a couple of times before actually violently breaking above. So same thing here, like we barely made a new all-time high, rejection, ABC correction before going higher. That's yeah, I'm on the same page as you. This is basically what I think is going to happen. I think Ethereum is going to slightly make an all-time high, back test the prior range at minimum 4,800, but it could go as low as like this being the back test of 4,000. It depends on how high we go, but I do think we're going to climb into August, into September 7th, and then I think we're going to have a short but violent back test before going, off to Neverland. I think I hijacked your TED talk though, so I'll let you get back to it.
No, I mean that was really it as far as my thoughts on Ethereum. I did notice that back test in 2021, so I was just gonna, all right, let's let's take care of step one first, and then see what happens next. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the exact playbook. I'm curious. The question I wanted to ask you is, I'm going to share a different tab here. So I'm looking at Bitcoin here, and false breakout, new all-time high. I'm wondering if you're thinking potentially UTAD here on a Wyckoff reaccumulation, or if you think that's something different.
No. So my thoughts on Bitcoin generally right now, 118 was my first major target, and it could be all of it. Um, I still think that we're in a pretty clear uptrend. I would like to see more like chopping before
Yeah,
basically I'm like, this is distribution. But I will say, like, right now, and this is a weird concept, but basically for Bitcoin, I just view it as properly valued. You know what I mean? Like, this was my target. And then the fact that we keep going to 118,
yeah.
118 to me is just proper value for Bitcoin. Now, I will say, like, I think the highest probability is 138 for Bitcoin. That's like a 16% move. Like, that's nothing. So, if you want to twist my arm and say that we're in the beginning stages of distribution for Bitcoin, sure. But I think it's going to take a while to play out.
So I was not thinking distribution. I was thinking reaccumulation. FYI.
Oh,
Um,
reaccumulation.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, all right. So 138. I know a lot of people are kind of going to be like, "Oh no, only 138. What does that mean for my altcoins?" Well, all right. Here's my projection for at least Ethereum when it comes to Bitcoin. Is, I mean, man, it's this is the ETH Bitcoin chart. I'm thinking at least a 618 retrace for Ethereum. So if Bitcoin were to get to 138, I think, I mean, this is all just in my head. I'm guessing that ETH would at least double from here under that scenario.
7,200 has been my target for Ethereum.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we could get to 12,000, but the highest probability, just like Bitcoin could go to 207, I think that that's reasonable. But again, that's only 79% from here. Uh,
Yeah.
I think that 12,000 is reasonable, but 7,200 to me is the highest probability. And we were talking about this, if you remember. I'm going to switch back to my screen real quick. We've been talking about this for a little while about, basically I was saying that Bitcoin is a beat or two ahead of Ethereum, and the reason I had my targets for Ethereum, I mean, even back to 2,600 when I was pretty, I sort of charted this out, that this was a bear trap, and that
Yeah.
so that was kind of my thesis, and the reason that I had that in mind was because of, I thought that Ethereum was a beat or two behind Bitcoin, and I thought that Ethereum was going to catch up structurally. Now I think it basically has caught up. It maybe, it's not into price discovery the same way that Bitcoin is, but it's basically at, double top. But I think that what's going to catch up now is others. That is what I think, because
Yeah,
others
we
is
talked about that.
it's still at like the 382. Here we go. So, in my opinion, even as early as August, others is going to go to the 702, just like Ethereum did before it broke out. So I think that that's the next thing for others. And then we'll see how high we get in September. But I think others goes into price discovery, and I think others goes 1.2 trillion is my base case for others.
Oh wow, that's 4x from where
Yeah.
we are right now. So I mean, if you guys think about that, I mean, that sounds. I mean, all right, 1.2 trillion. My projection for this cycle, yeah, at least early on, was 7 trillion, and currently for the total market cap, currently it's at 4 trillion, something like that, or it got up to 4.1. So others, everything outside of the top 10, essentially hitting what, about 20% of that, less than 20% of that sounds
Yeah,
possible.
some things will 10x, some things will 2x, you know what I mean? But the
Yeah,
average, and the reason, I know you know this, but for those you watching that don't know, others is basically every cryptocurrency in a basket, like all combined together outside of the top 10. So from link on, basically,
yeah,
is others. And the reason that I think others is an important chart is, so it's like, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, none of that is in others. Everything from hyper, I guess, all the way down is in others. When people think of altcoins, that's really what they're talking about. They're talking about others.
yeah.
Then when they're saying when alt season, really that's what they're talking about. They're not talking about when is Ethereum going to rip. They're talking about others. Um, so yeah, my base case was also, I think it was 6.6 trillion, and then 8.8 trillion was my like plausible number for the total. So yeah, basically the same page there.
Yeah, I mean, just to be clear, guys, I'll share my screen again. Where do I have this? Um, we're at this really interesting point. I mean, I'm looking at the S&P now. We had a daily close. This is a multi-year on the other side of this, and we've had two daily closes on the other side of this trend line here for the S&P 500. I think what happens next is that this holds a support, and we do have a blow off top in the S&P. I mean, I want to be clear about something. I mean, my thesis, you guys know I was a bear in early 2025. That did change when we put in a V-shaped recovery here. I thought we would have gotten rejected at the 200-day, or maybe a lower high, like this move, this peak right here on May 20th. And then when it was clear it was a V-shaped recovery, my thesis entirely flipped for at least the remainder of this year, but I could see it going longer than that. And so now I would say that we are me and you, Devin, at least for the rest of this year, are very much aligned. Can you read the questions? We'll get to the questions. Give us some time. This is what we do. We talk with each other first, and then we read the questions. So and I'm happy about that. It's not like I was excited about being a bear.
Yeah.
No, thank you. So
Yeah, I'm actually I think it's going to be short, more similar to Ethereum rejection. That's kind of what I think is going to happen for most of the market. I don't think it's going to be 34%, because it's kind of like you have sort of diminishing returns, diminishing, rejection, so to speak. But I think 20%, I think that is to be
wait, what are you saying? 30%, 20% for what?
it's September rate cuts.
Oh, okay.
I think we'll initially have a decent correction, but I think it's going to be short
Yeah.
lived.
Yeah.
And then I'm still, my base case is November, that we're going to be euphoric. The total market cap will do, not the total, others is going to, in my opinion, do like a 4 to 6x. And that doesn't really sound like a lot, but when you understand like how cryptocurrency moves, it's
Yeah.
not like we have this idea that it's like a box of, this is going to have 1 billion, this coin will have 5 billion, this coin. It's not really like that. It's really like a sloshing of money that goes back and forth. So
Yep.
a 4x on, the total or others basically is really like a 40x of money flow from one coin to another.
Yeah, that means that yeah, exactly. It means that like literally the entire, not that this is going to happen, but the entire others market cap could 4x, and literally like every coin in others could do more than a 4x, and that still fit.
Right.
I mean, I'm looking at these. There are several that I do not think would 4x. Just looking at the top, from 11 to 20, like Bitcoin Cash going to $2,000, or actually more like $2,400. I mean, I love Bitcoin Cash right now. It's just been very, very reliable. Sui, I don't think would do more than a 4x. XLM. We'll see about Chainlink. I know people are really excited about Chainlink right now, but
I think I think
yeah, go ahead.
I have a 3x target from here on Chainlink.
Yeah.
Um,
And you never know with Hyperliquid. I mean, that's number 11. I mean, it's a what, man, that's crazy. It's at almost a $16 billion market cap. This is it was a brand new crypto. So we'll see. But Litecoin is 120 right now. 480 would be like my absolute peak on that. But then, I mean, you scroll down and there's plenty in the top, in others that could do much more than that. I mean, all right, I just stopped on Aerodrome. Somebody was mentioning something about Aerodrome being really excited about it. I don't think it has a 4x in it.
no.
Sorry. So there we go.
Yeah, that I was I got on my TED talk about inflation again last
Yeah.
night. It's like my biggest pet peeve in crypto is just, you know, ignoring economics 101, supply plus demand.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes we get a little too cute and try to make things too complicated and try to like, show how smart we really are, and we just ignore the most basic fundamental thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It happens. So
Can Bitcoin reach 150 by October? I think that that's plausible.
sure. I mean, yeah, it got up to 124. That's, you know,
Yeah.
where is Bitcoin? That's what, 2 months from now? All right, 2 months. I mean, Bitcoin in May got under 100,000, or in June got under 100,000, got up to 125.
Yeah. April
So
was at
yeah,
75K.
yeah,
Um, Someone asked me if this is a new account. Yeah, this is Skis Crypto is basically my main account. Your boy Ski is kind of my backup account now.
yep. Same guys going on after this, after us. We talked about that before we went live. Demanding ransom, and neither of us are going to pay him. Some people did, which only invigorated him to go after other people. So thanks to everyone who paid this guy to stop bothering you. Because you paid him, both of our main accounts got attacked. So
Yeah. For me, it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
yeah,
Alex is still working through it, I think, but
yeah, I am. Yeah, I mean, it's been fine for me. I've spread my wings in other areas. So
yeah, spread my wings and fly.
yeah.
Uh,
Someone asked Cardano 5x. Solana's not going to 5x. So Cardano and Solana are in the top 10. So we're not talking about top 10. We're talking about others.
um,
Could
I
they? I
think
mean, I don't think Solana very unlikely.
I don't think Solana 5x is from here, but my target for Solana is 420
Yeah.
to 510. 88 I think could 5x actually.
Yeah, it could.
Uh,
And I really like Cardano right now, right at this moment. I like it a lot.
did you see where Charles Hopkinson he tweeted rugged everyone?
No. What?
Yeah, he did. He tweeted that. I saw it last night. I was like, what in the world? Either he's like a 3D troll or someone hacked his account. I'm not sure what happened, but let me see if I can
Man.
find it. Yeah, that made me laugh for sure. I was like, what in the world? It just has his AI picture of him at that retreat. Charles, see if I can find it. Hop.
Pendle 5x. I think Devin says no, and I would say more a little bit more confidence than Devin that it could 5x.
I don't mind Pendle here.
Yeah,
It doesn't have. It's not egregious inflation. It's just
yeah,
like something to consider.
yeah. Tau, now everyone wants to know what's going to 5x. I'm like, man, I mean, we're talking about 4x, guys. Come on, not foreign exchange, but 4x. So
Foreign exchange.
So like, yeah, I mean, I could see Tau 4xing or ICP. I think ICP would 4x.
Oh
Sure.
yeah, I think VeChain is probably my strongest blue
Oh
chip
yeah.
candidate. People are really down on ICP, and that makes me very bullish.
Yeah, I opened a long on ICP. I'm down on it, but I'm not sweating it at all.
Yeah, I mean, really, like the more I go on, the more bearish people get on ICP, just because it's so boring.
Yeah.
And the more that's making me like, okay, I can't even remember how to spell his name.
Brother, it's okay if you don't want to talk about it. You can just tell me. No need to blank me. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm so torn. So my goodness, of all the questions that please respond to my question. I have no idea what you're talking about, man. None. I can't keep up with all the comments, and we're talking with each other right now. So, when's Memecoin season? I want to share that chart. So this is really interesting. Memecoin dominance in altcoin markets. Here's for those on TikTok, you can't see it, but for those on YouTube, what I'm showing is a significant outperformance over all of 2025 between utility and meme coin. Utility is just dominating meme coins right now, and that's good. That's a good thing. Okay, I'm not complaining. I asked about why. I have no idea what those things are. Sorry. So I guess I'm ghosting you. But look at how violently meme coins move in comparison to altcoins at specific times. I mean, both. I think didn't Solnick hit 10 million during that big up move, or was it 8 million or something like that?
Yeah, I think 10.2 million was our all-time high.
Yeah, and he hit 10 million as well. When I don't know where Solnick bottomed out in like July, August of 2024, but that was that. Oh, so he did a 13x during that time, and Solnick did multiple X's as well. And now, I mean, you look at a lot of these meme coin charts, they just look they don't look all that good. But I'm telling you, there's going to be a time, and when that time comes.
Yeah, it's so funny how quickly narratives will change. And there's just nothing like price to change sentiment. Literally 2 months ago, a month ago, like people were like, Ethereum is dead. Ethereum's dead. And I kept being like, I'm the biggest Ethereum hater known to man. I am longing Ethereum now. And if I am longing Ethereum, I think that speaks volumes as to what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
And then, I never drank the Kool-Aid of all season is canceled, and I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid that memes are going away. To me, it's really like the most fundamental part about crypto. It's just like that degenerate slot machine that's kind of, in our nature. That's not going away.
Yeah. I mean, that to me, people ask what's going to be the big narratives for this run. There's plenty that I don't know if they're going to be big narratives, but there's one that's just a no brainer for me, and that's going to be meme coins. So,
all right. So this is Charles Hopkinson last night. So it's still up. So I think he edited it though. I think it said I rug the space. If I remember right, but it says the space rugs. I'll see everyone next time. Oh my God.
well, Cardano didn't suffer as a result of that.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Charles Hopkinson. I feel like he's a character.
Yeah. Yeah.
He he lets the funny thing is like he's a billionaire and he lets trolls get to him too, and he'll just crash out from time to
Yep.
time. Oh man.
Yeah. Those guys who are among the biggest, most influential people in crypto, I can't imagine it. I mean, we already get plenty of our own crap from people. Um, that must be on a scale 100x higher than that. So
You help me spot Wyckoffs. I'll repay you by pointing out the RSI divergence on the daily time frame.
yeah, I've seen that. So whatever. I mean, no, that's why that's a part of the reason why I asked you, Devin, about is that a UTAD in Wyckoff? Let me pull up that chart again. So, and then looking at the RSI, I see what this dude's talking about. I mean, all right, I'm not going to pull up two different tabs here and do everything, but like this peak, July 14th, Bitcoin peaked at what, 118? What was it? No, 123. And then we have here RSI, Bitcoin peaked at 124 and change. So, oh, bearish divergence on the daily chart. Okay, well, worst case scenario, I think, would be another back test of the previous all-time high. But I mean, there's no guarantees that that's going to happen.
Well, the thing too, especially like I see it. I see it. But the thing is, like, people will be like, on the weekly RSI, it looks bearish. It's like, yeah, that could take years to play out.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And like every time frame that you're looking at, the move can take, 2 times. So like that this could take for on the daily, we're looking at months to play out. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Weeks to months is what when you see stuff on the daily. You see stuff on the 5 hour, you're looking at days to weeks. I think that that's how it kind of plays out. So if you're telling me months or a month, weeks to months, that would put us in September. Do I think we're going to have a violent back test in September? Yes, that is my base case.
Okay. So, I mean, yeah, it's easy to look at previous bull runs. It's easy to look at 2017 and think that it was just a one-way train to the moon. But there was I would say even more fear for those who were obsessed with crypto in 2017. There were a lot more scary moments to shake people out of their positions than what we're seeing right now.
Even with Bitcoin, like like how
Yeah,
people feel about I'm trying to think of like a mid cap or something like maybe how skittish people are like with Flux. If Flux had
yeah,
a big dip or something like that, that's basically what Bitcoin was back in 2017. It's like the same kind of market cap. So
yeah.
yeah. The thing that I've been looking at a lot is just kind of going on the emotional roller coaster ride and really kind of replaying these moments. I have yet to find a coin. I have yet to find a coin. I have yet to find a coin.
I'm on the edge of my seat, man.
I know it. All right. So on the top, we'll start with Ethereum here. We'll start with Ethereum and then we'll work our way down.
Sure.
um, so Bitcoin, in my opinion, is in price discovery. Okay, that's a very important distinction to make. And that is the base of where we're going to build this from. And price discovery, people get confused with an all-time high. Price discovery and all-time highs are not the same thing. Price discovery is like oversimplification, a full leg higher than the previous all-time high. Not like a couple percentage higher, but like a full base leg higher than the previous all-time high. That is oversimplification of what price discovery essentially is. And I have marked out here Bitcoin in January 6th, liberals' favorite holiday of 2021, where Bitcoin was in full on price discovery. And then what I like to do is just think about like how many people are like Alex, this coin is dead this time. Why is everything lagging? Why is everything lagging? Why
Yeah.
is everything so far behind? It's dead. It's dead. It's dead. Here's Ethereum. Ethereum is the second largest coin. And I have yet to find a coin that this is not the same exact thing. So I have circled January 6th, 2021 on both of these. Uh, you can see like Ethereum is near or at, and it's the same thing for every single coin. It's the same thing for others. It's the same thing for Total 3. It's the same thing for XRP. It's the same thing for Dogecoin. It's the same thing for like I have yet to find a coin that was either not at its bear market lows when Bitcoin was at price discovery or near its bear market lows when Bitcoin was at price discovery. And the thing is, from this moment, Bitcoin only does a 50% move. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all that it did. But Ethereum during the same time does a 5x. Ethereum, the second largest coin, does a more than a 5x. And again, like talking about like simplicity over complicating things, I think that that's exactly what we do with crypto. And I think what happens is people get confused as to what part of the ride that we're in. And I have this kind of like money flow chart here, so to speak. And it goes from fiat to Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, into large caps, into mid caps, into small caps, into micro caps, back into fiat. That's an oversimplification, and I like to relate it to a roller coaster ride. And in the roller coaster ride, people think that, well, Bitcoin is up. Why the hell is my $20 million market cap coin not pumping? Ski, what the hell? But in reality, like if you relate it to a roller coaster ride from fiat to Bitcoin is the longest part of the ride. That's the part where you're just like just waiting, 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 waiting. You're going up, you're going up, you're going up, you're going up. This is the longest portion of the ride. And then it goes faster and faster as time goes on, and it gets more and more violent as time goes on. But yeah, I have yet to find a coin, like any coin, January 6th, 2021, that was not near its bottoms or like bear market lows or lower. Like I have yet to find a coin that existed during that time that had a previous bull run that was not at its bear market lows during that time. I've yet to find it. So this idea that alt season is canceled, I don't buy it. I don't buy it, Alex.
I mean, it's something pretty interesting. That peak that you have circled for Bitcoin, that was, I remember that was around $42,000 for Bitcoin. And oh, where was I going with that? Oh, and then I see what you have with Ethereum there. So around the time that Bitcoin first got to double its all-time high, that's around the time that altcoins went absolutely bananas. And 138 sticks out to me because it's double the previous all-time high, and then that's your number that I'm quoting there. So could it be, that
Well,
that's the
I
next
think
thing?
that we're either like entering price discovery for Bitcoin or and the point that I'm making is like structurally we are near that for Bitcoin where a lot of our altcoins are quote dead because they're at their
Yeah.
bear market lows, but it's like literally every single coin that I found, even others total, like if I pull up, I don't know why my computer just like froze here, but even if I pull up others, it was at its bear market lows during that same time, and it did a 5x from the same moment as well. Let's see if I can
Yeah.
pull this up real quick. So I mean, VeChain, here's the total. Let me pull up others. Where is it?
It blows my mind that you don't have that in alphabetical order.
I, you know, I did at one point. I had it really organized, but then I just well, what I do is I normally will have this one as my
Yeah.
like live stream, like look up a coin. I have a different thing. And what happens is when I'm live, I will do my normal one and I'll just
Yeah.
add stuff and it gets all unorganized. But yeah, I need to fix it. So here you go. Here's Bitcoin to others. Same thing. Like here, I already have it circled because I've done this 100 times. Like,
Yeah.
look, it's at its bear market lows. When's all season? All season's dead. Ski. It's
Yeah.
dead. It's dead. Dead. Like, look at how insignificant that is compared to like what happened.
Oh yeah.
All right, that's enough of my my TED talk.
Okay, Bitcoin dominance and USDT dominance are going up. Let's hope something will change fast. I mean, Bull, I love you, man. Oh, let me share this tab. Here's what this looks like. Bitcoin dominance going up. I mean, you want to call that Bitcoin dominance going up? It's up 0.07% today. This is looking. I mean, if you look at historically, what Bitcoin dominance, even in 2020, is the same deal, man. It's like, there were times that it was green and times it was red, and even when it was just like full out elevator down mode, there were green days. So it's okay. We're gonna be all right. Yeah, I mean, just something that was a really. I know that, Devin, you're all charts, and for me, it's a little bit more than I do pay more attention to what's going on. I mean, like when the big beautiful bill passed, eh, I was just like, we're probably going much higher. Um, that was a turning point for me mentally. It's like, you're gonna, not that I'm a fan of the big beautiful bill. I think it's terrible, actually. But if you're gonna raise the debt ceiling by $5 trillion, you're going to be injecting a lot of money in that debt ceiling. And soon enough they'll be raising the debt ceiling again.
Right.
So
Yeah, and that's the thing for me. Moment to moment, like there'll be pockets where I'm bearish. But if you get
yeah,
me on a long enough time frame, I'm bullish because I am bearish on the dollar because I know
yeah.
that's the whole point of crypto. I got to take accountability, take responsibility here because back in, and of course I'm humbly bragging is what's really happening, but back in when was this?
February,
May.
May.
So Bitcoin dominance, I had this marked as the UTAD, and we actually went a little bit higher. So I need to take full accountability, responsibility that I was saying that this was the top, and you know what? I was 1% wrong and 48 days wrong. So I apologize to everyone. But we are clearly we've clearly reversed at this point.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, like I've said before, you're a master at feeling out those bottoms. Um, and you one time, your one miss. There's your one miss.
yeah.
So
Well, I was wrong in February. I was correct about the narrative, but they were not correct in their timing. I wasn't wrong. They were wrong in their timing. They delayed the tariffs.
yeah.
Uh,
So all
yeah.
right, let me read a question here. I've seen you ask this question before, Kenny, and whatever. All right. So still of the mindset of when these rate cuts happen, 2 to 4 months until we sell. Another scenario, let's say we get another cut after the September. Do we restart the 2 to 4 month sell time bomb? No. Well, all right. So first of all, um, I could see it being so. All right. For the recap, last year, my mindset was 2 to 4 months after those first rate cuts on September 18th, I was going to sell my crypto. I wish I sold more. I sold 40% in December, January of my crypto, and so I did lay out a hypothesis during a live stream of like, okay, maybe we maybe that's going to be the case this time around, where it's the same deal. 2 to 4 months after those first rate cuts would be a good time to sell. I can see that playing itself out. I mean, Devin, you said November. That would be 2 months after that rate cut. So we'll see.
I think, I try to be clear about this as many times as I can. I think I'll just be clear about this. Like, time is not real for Bitcoin. Okay.
Yeah.
Bitcoin will be here long after me and Alex are dead and gone. Time's not real for Bitcoin. And I think we can hypothesize what we think is going to happen in certain dates, in certain months. But this idea of that, well, September's here.
Yeah.
It's time to buy. It's time to sell. Like, I think that is a silly way of doing things, and you can get yourself into trouble. What I'm going to do, and I know Alex too, is just going to be patient. And if the opportunity presents itself to de-risk some of our portfolio, we're up on some stuff, that's what we're going to do. And then if the opportunity presents itself where we get a dip, take action on that as well.
That's exactly it. I mean, I do not necessarily call for end dates. It's just like I'll make a plan, and if the day to day provides it kind of confirms that's the right plan, then I will act on that. If it does not, I will change my plan.
Yeah.
So
For me, it's even like I've just been in this long enough and I've been patient long enough to where, and I've already taken action to where I can just be patient. And like I have targets. Let's say first target for VeChain is 15 cents. If but between now and September rate cuts, VeChain goes to 15 cents, I will take action. If it's at 9 cents, I don't necessarily need to take action just because it's August. Um, so that's just kind of how I view it. I'm just going to be patient, let the market come to me, and take action appropriately based off of that.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, so that's how it's worked out. I can tell you a time that my plan it was confirmed. That was December of 2024, and so I sold a decent bag. And then a time that my plan did not quite work out the way I thought it would have been May. May of 2025. I did have an exit strategy, and it would have worked to perfection for a month, and then you buy in June, and so that one was one that I had to adjust on.
Yeah. the yeah, I don't know. I think we have a tendency, I say we as like just crypto investors, we have a tendency to try to get too cute and try to just
Yeah,
outsmart the market. And I think 99% of people are just better served just doing your front end homework into your fundamental projects with low token or good tokenomics,
yeah,
and then just taking an action when the market presents itself opportunity, because there's always going to be opportunities. I just tweeted this out yesterday. Um, it said, and I think it's just really true. It's just, you have basically, let me find this. Do you want the pain of buying the top and selling the bottom? Or do you want the pain of learning emotional intelligence, the pain of discipline, the pain of growth? Both will be painful, either option. So choose wisely which pain you want.
I'm going to choose now. I'm going to choose the latter of those two options. So
Is those times an opportunity now? I think that there's lots of coins that are in opportunity right now. I have my eye on others. Um, I still think that there's good opportunity in a lot of others, which are coins outside of the top 10 that have low to no inflation. I like VeChain here. I like ICP here. Those are probably my favorite like blue chip plays right now. Um, what else do I like here? If for like a blue chip, I like Flux for a mid cap. I don't mind Caspa here, although I think it probably
yeah,
has a little bit of work to do.
yeah.
I think the risk to reward is really good. I like
Um,
Uni Dot.
I was going to say Uniswap. Foregone. There you go, Uniswap. I like Jasmy. Um, I'm just
Is your
looking through my
Jasmine
list here.
target still the same?
Yes,
10, 11, 12.
mine was 11.57.
So my low, medium, high is 10, 11, 12 cents.
There we go.
That was the funniest thing that I realized. That was the moment that I knew that this marriage was gonna work.
What?
When I went on this long, like winded rant about my targets on Jasmy, and I was looking at market cap and I was showing like all this stuff. And then it was like you had the exact same target as me, but you did it completely differently than me. And I was like, okay, yep, this is good. And I thought I was arguing against you, but you had the exact same target as me.
Oh, that's funny. I don't even remember that. I'm gonna have to watch the video where I made a Jasmine price prediction to understand. I mean, like I all those price prediction videos I made in early 2024. I put at least an hour of work into every one of them. So I know there was a process that made me come to that conclusion.
Mine's based off of market cap.
Yeah, mine is too. Like every one of them, what you would see is like a spreadsheet presentation of with all the math in it, like a projection of the market cap and divided by the supplies. So
Where could ETH retrace to before putting in a new all-time high? $4,000. I think I call a retracement different than what most people call. Maybe I'm the one that's wrong because I feel like everyone else calls it something else.
yeah. So I mean, all right, just to back that up, I mean, Ethereum got to a little under $4,800 the other day, and again in 2021, it had a move up to barely under its previous all-time high, like we saw a couple of days ago, and had, I think, a 40% drop. And then it broke through its all-time high and had a 27% drop. So I'm not saying that Ethereum is going to have that significant of a drop. I don't think it will. But it could. It could have a 20% drop and still be perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's not my base case. I was
Yeah.
answering what could happen, what's in the
Yeah.
realm of possibility. That's not my base case. Let me be clear before everyone starts freaking out. But Ski's bearish on ETH again. He hates ETH. So we'll be reaching 300. What do y'all think? Soul? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So at 300,
I mean, it's already at 300.
it got up to 300.
I'm pretty sure. Back in December, I could be wrong on that. I think it was.
Wait, what were you going to say? I mean, it doesn't matter.
Someone asked me XYO targets 10, 15, 20.
295, close enough for ETH.
Yeah. Solana 295. Yep. Yeah. So can it get to 300? Can it go $5 higher than the all-time high? I think so.
Yeah. I love it when people ask a question like, can such and such cryptocurrency get to this price? And then I look at it, I'm like, I don't remember what the price is now. And then it's like 20% higher than the price there that it's at.
Can it retrace?
Yeah.
ETH predictions since the beginning of time, since the dawn of time, the creator said, "Let there be light," and then I had the targets of 3,300, 7,200, and 12,000. So those are still my targets since 2022.
All right.
Same for XRP. My targets have been $5, $8, $12.
Why are you so bearish, man? Mikadas, I guess, thinks that I can't read his comment, but I can. So let me just read it. Hey, Ski, a while back, Alex had this notion that alt season will not take place until QE starts. Is that still his opinion? What happens?
Alex's opinions.
What happens? Oh, is that Mackie? Oh, that's Mackie. Man, you drove me crazy yesterday, Mackie. But I'll be happy to answer your question. There's been a lot of things that have happened recently that are clearly pointing the direction of liquidity moving in a much higher direction. And again, for some reason, this confused you yesterday. Like, we are very close to QT officially being over, but QT is effectively over because of how many other things are going on. So QT ending, let's just say the official end of QT is in September. I think that's enough to trigger something more significant than what we've seen at any point this cycle with altcoins. Probably less significant, in my opinion, than what we saw in 2021 or 2018.
I've just kind of been I have not been of the mindset that we need QE to have a bull run. I just haven't, because it's like we view it as money printer on or money printer off, and that's not really what's happening. It's like, is it a fire hose or a garden hose of water flow? Because they never stop printing money.
Yeah.
And we have an example too. But I mean, I think, my base case right now is September. We're going to have a correction. We have a, couple months of QE. That's when you start to really, go kind of crazy. But let's try to show this. Let me get a cleaner chart here because
it's on mine right now.
All right. Okay. So I have the federal interest rate overlaid on my chart with Bitcoin. It's kind of hard to. So we have basically two examples with Bitcoin. We have a lot of examples with the NASDAQ, but we have basically two with Bitcoin. So you have one example of. Let's go back. So we have this example. This was technically QE. And then we have the bull run of 2021. Am I showing my screen? I'm showing the wrong one.
Yeah, you are.
We have this example where, so this pink line is the interest rates. And so that effectively shows you, we have this example in 2021. This was effectively quantitative easing, and we had this massive parabolic run. But the rates were paused, though. They were not cutting at any point during this run. At no point during this run were they cutting. In fact, when they did cut, it was the C19 crash. Now you might say, well, why did they cut? Because I mean, the world was shut down, and it's like, well, is it the chicken or the egg? Which comes first? You can be the judge of that. But the fact is, they cut, and we had a pretty big correction, followed by, after pausing and chopping for a decent bit, then going parabolic. And then we have the other example for Bitcoin, which was the 2017 bull run. And I can't scroll this, but I'm trying to make this to where it shows you there we go. And they were hiking during this bull run. And the 2017 bull run was one of the most euphoric, crazy times of pandemonium. So we basically have two examples. It's 50-50 for Bitcoin specifically. There's lots of data for the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones, but those are the examples that we have for Bitcoin. I think it's not going to be this violent, but this is what I think is going to happen in September. I don't think it's going to be like a 40% correction for Bitcoin, but I do think, you could call it 10 to 20% for the total market cap or something like that. And I think it's going to be short lived. And then it's going to get very euphoric very quickly. That's what I think is going to happen.
I mean, I don't love the comparison to COVID, but I don't need to get into that.
Yeah, not a great one. But the point is, this is the whole point of that is this idea that you can't have a bull run with QT. I don't think it's true. Like we had it in 2017.
We had rates increasing. We did not have quantitative tightening. So I would say there's a difference between those two.
All right. Well, I stand corrected then. But I do think there's going to be an immediate pullback in September. I would love to be wrong, but just don't be caught off guard.
Yeah.
What's up with Flux? I like Flux a lot. I mean, it's just an accumulation. Flux is a mid cap. and we're not in the mid cap part of the game yet.
Yeah.
That's, you know,
Yeah.
why isn't Flux going crazy with everything else? Because it's a mid cap. This is what I think is up with Flux, though. I think it's in deep in accumulation here.
Hey, someone, let me address something. Somebody's, I guess, trolling me or something. Alex missed all his longs. Alex, how did your longs go yesterday? Um, I I opened two longs, one on ICP. I'm still in it. I'm fine with it. I'm down. Okay. Congrats on your trolling. And then the other one is it was stopped out. It happens. All right, but then I did buy some spot, and I'm not trying to buy the bottom. I mean, one of those was on Bitcoin Cash, which is like barely down. And so I don't understand the whatever. So let's move on.
Well, me and Alex are not going 300x long though. So
Yeah, I'm 1 and 2x long.
yeah,
Like that's the thing that like, you know, maybe I posted an entry on ICP in my calls channel. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody did a 20x long on that and I maybe got liquidated. I'm assuming got liquidated. That's on them. Like
yeah,
literally it's 1 or 2x for my longs and my shorts. And like I had to learn that the hard way. So
yeah.
it's not like I'm sitting here crying because, oh no, my positions are down.
Yeah, I love doing low leverage because there's like
Yeah.
the point of high leverage is like in the traditional markets of 4x. The S&P 500 isn't going to move 10% in a day. So you have to compensate for that by doing, 40x, 100x or whatever. And that's how you compensate for those, like the lack of volatility is by having a crazy amount of leverage. Like here's the deal with crypto. We don't need to do that because every hour there are coins that move 10%.
Yeah, exactly.
So we don't
Like,
need to compensate for the volatility because the volatility is there.
yeah. Um, and it's weird. I see people who have a different, a way different strategy. Why 1x long? Because this is just for me, it's not for everyone, but for me, I if I just buy spot, it'll be in this place that I just never monitor it, and I don't really I don't pay attention. And for trading, I want to see exactly how much I'm up or down. Um, so and the way my apps are set up in my leverage section, and the fees aren't all that much anyway. The fees are probably just as much as if you bought spot. So for 1x at least.
Yeah. I normally just stick around 3x, and I like that because I can be in the wrong flavor for weeks at a time, but have the base right and eventually be correct.
Yeah.
Um, do you guys use heat maps in your TA? I'll use it as something, but it's never like my base thesis, if that makes sense. Like I might use it
Yeah.
as confirmation, like, well, and there's liquidity up here. As for like, I have this reason, that reason, and the third reason why I believe what's going to happen. And then I might throw in like, and look at the heat maps liquidity. But as far as me making a base thesis based off of heat maps, no, I don't do that.
I don't ever look at heat maps, honestly, but
The way I view every indicator is pretty much the same. This
yeah.
idea that there's one indicator that is going to, just change your life and it's going to tell you when to buy and it's going to tell you when to sell every time. There is no one magical indicator that's going to do that for you. And how I view every indicator is like the old adage, everything is something, but nothing is everything. So they're all pieces to the puzzle, but they're not the puzzle.
Yeah. And if you're going to keep track of everything, you're probably going to it's like for me I rely on a few things
Mm.
that have worked well for me. Like if I tried keeping track of every single thing, I'd be too confused.
Well, and I think that's a mistake that people make too is, they again, like I'm just talking in parables today, but do you fear the man who, practiced 10,000 different kicks or the man who practiced one kick 10,000 different times? I personally think, the better thing to do is pick 3 or 4 things that you like, you see, you resonate with, and just do that again and again and again and practice your kick 10,000 times rather
Yeah.
than, just going from this indicator to this indicator to this indicator. I don't think you make any real headway by doing that.
Yeah. I noticed you use moving averages and Ski doesn't as much. Okay.
I use moving averages.
Oh
I have
yeah,
moving averages
I
right
see it
now.
now that I'm looking at it. Um, we-
Mine
yeah,
are a little bit different
yeah.
than his.
And I mostly look at daily candles. Your big thing is the 5 hour. Um, for me, the 200 is a very key level. For other people, it may be something else, but I pay a lot of attention to the 200 day.
Yeah. I think, the 200 is big,
Yeah,
very big. Yeah, I look at moving averages. Um, I don't really put a lot of weight on any
yeah,
one indicator. And what I practice, what I preach. I view more of like Wyckoff and fib levels as more valuable information to where we're at than RSI. And moving averages is definitely
yeah.
something that I pay attention to, but I don't put it above other things. Yeah, I use moving averages.
Yeah, for me, it's mostly levels. Honestly, it's just levels. That's where I make most of my entries. Is I look at, and sometimes those levels will hit or miss within a fraction of a percentage, and other times um, it'll wick decent amount below. But a lot of the time, when I look at specific levels, it that works out well for me.
That is my base case, Chris. He asked me, we move upward the rest of August. Decent correction in September before euphoria. That is my base case. But with new information,
Yeah.
I'll have new opinions. But that is my base case.
It would make sense for us to rally into that first rate cut, and then
I just think the market's intelligent, and I think that it's going to front
yeah,
run the news of like 95% or 98% chance that they're going to cut. And in when is it,
yeah.
the 17th? Also some woo woo talk here, but there is a lunar eclipse on the 7th. So
Sorry, I laugh every time, but it's like, you know,
there's,
if enough people trade based off of that, then there's no denying you need to pay attention to it.
yeah. Is it the chicken or the
Yeah,
egg? I don't know. Which comes first? I'm not sure. Is it a self-fulfilling prophecy, or are people super emotional on the full moons? I would argue,
I mean
yes.
that's like
Mhm.
everyone, people who don't like technical analysis, they think it's like horoscopes for investors or whatever.
For
It's
men.
like all that it is, in my opinion, is, or a large majority of it is just like trying to figure out what everyone else is going to do, and or at least what traders are going to do. And for me,
Mm,
like that's, once I realized that helped me a lot with my trading.
yeah, that's why I like
Yeah,
Wyckoff too, because I mean, I'm always going back to this, but to me, it's like it shows like this, for instance, like if you just saw this and you don't know anything about Wyckoff. Let me go to actually the spring version. Uh, but if you saw this, and people did see
yeah,
this like back in April, this is a downtrend. You know what I mean? And people are going to be like, traders will be like, "Well, another lower low, off to Hades we go." Um, so that it just kind of gives you discretion against the traders. I think that there's really three sort of there's three players in this game, of three categories of players. There's traders, there's investors, and then there's
yeah.
the market makers. And really, the market makers are the ones who are running the show.
Yep.
a blind squirrel gets a nut from time to time, but it's really the market makers who are running the show. And I what I do a lot is there's nothing technical about this, but I literally will spend a large majority of my time trying to figure out what is what are the masses
Yeah.
thinking right now. What do they believe is true about the market? And the reason I do that is because I've never seen them be on the same side as the market makers. So if I can figure out what they think, what they feel, then I know what the market makers are doing, or it gives me a good idea at least. There's nothing technical about that.
Yeah.
Of like how many idiot comments do I get? You're an idiot
Yeah.
comments do I get on a scale? There's nothing technical about that. uh but yeah, I mean, yeah, but as far as the moon, I think people make it too complicated or too like witchy, but really it's just like money is not real. That's Money is how we measure
Yeah.
energy, and people have energy on the full moon. See me gap filled finally. Let's go. Is that true? See me gaps to me is
Yeah.
again, it's another thing that's like it's something, but it's not,
I thought it was
you
filled
know.
yesterday. I do feel a sense of relief whenever the CME gap does get filled. So, but yeah,
That's how I feel. Yep, yeah, it's like it's a band-aid that is ripped off, but I think sometimes we fall into a trap of like we can't go higher or we can't
yeah,
go lower until this happens. And that's a trap too. But I like
yeah,
it when it
definitely.
happens.
Well, I'm about ready for lunch.
All right. Sounds good. Whoopsies. All right, guys. Well, that is going to be it for this time. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. We will never message you first. Any closing thoughts, Alex?
Um, we'll never message you first. If it's
Yeah.
someone's asking about, go ahead.
If
Yeah, go ahead. You
listen,
do it.
I showed my phone on stream yesterday. I showed how many text messages, how many unread text messages I have. It's in
Mm,
the 400s, and how many calls that I have missed. It's also in the 200s. I don't even check on my own people. I'm not going to ask you how your trading is
that's
going.
right.
Okay. I have enough. Listen, I don't care. I love you, but I have too much stuff going on in my
Yeah.
own life. I'm not going to be like, how's your trading going? That's not me. That's somebody from Pakistan, Kakistan, Afghanistan, Turkestan. It's not a ski stand though. Okay.
Yep. And I care even less than Devin does how your trading's going. So
Uh, actually, Alex is going against your trading. He's actively sabotaging. That's a joke. All right. That's going to be it for this time. Peace, love, prosperity. God first. God bless.